Today, the great Ana Almeida joins me on this episode. How you doing, Ana?
I'm raising my hands to the roof. Woo, woo.
Lots to talk about today.
Yeah.
Have you heard the interest rate news? Or sorry, the inflation news?
It's all the same to me. It's high, isn't it?
1.9. It's up.
Oh my gosh, why?
Inflation's been going up nonstop. By the way, that's 1.9% over last year. And last year was over the year before. I mean, when you compare inflation now at 1.9%, what is that compared to 2020?
Yeah.
Why have the prices gone so crazy? I just wondered this yesterday, the day before. I had to go to Shoppers Drug Mart because I needed deodorant. And I'm in the deodorant aisle in absolute shock. Like I had to pick my jaw up off the ground. Deodorant used to cost $3.99 for the cheap stuff, $4.99 for the better stuff, $5.99 for the good stuff. Now, $9.99, $10.99, $12.99.
It's outrageous.
The natural stuff costs $3 more than the stuff with actual aluminum in it. I don't understand what's going on. What market factor caused the price of deodorant to more than double?
It's sad because I have to ration now when it comes to deodorant.
And that's not something we should be rationing in this heat.
Especially in this heat. It's outrageous. It should not cost that much for deodorant. And it's all different sizes too. You can't even go to a Dollarama. It's so expensive there as well. I'm telling you, I've been around. I've been doing my bargain shopping for things like deodorant, Q-tips, everything is up. This is madness. Madness.
It is just too expensive to live in this country.
Yes.
Every time you need something, and we're not talking wants, we're talking needs. You need deodorant. And I don't know who needs to hear that, but you need deodorant.
I know.
Transit rider.
Oh, gosh. I understand the person I stand behind in the grocery aisle.
Some of it's real potent, Anna.
Oh, my gosh. They're like, do you want me to grab that off the top shelf? I'm like, no. It's okay. I will climb. But thank you. You are a good Samaritan.
I've got a lot of topics that I want to run by you, and we're going to go fairly quickly on most of them because there's a lot I want to fit in. And then I also want to point out here, coming up at the end of the episode, I'm going to do a little solo Scott because I want to break down the speech that Pierre Poilievre gave yesterday in Ottawa, calling on the Prime Minister to sell off his assets. The Prime Minister, when he was running for office, led us to believe that everything was in a blind trust except for his cash and real estate. Turns out he's got stocks and all sorts of stuff. I'm going to let Pierre Poilievre tell you the story, and nearest I can tell, everything he says is quite accurate. And then we have a decision to make about how we feel about this. Do we want a prime minister who can make decisions that will personally enrich himself, or should he do what you're supposed to do in a blind trust? Sell off your investments, let a trustee handle it. You don't know where your investments are. Therefore, you can't make decisions that would make yourself wealthy.
I mean, that sounds like an easy answer, but clearly something that someone's not getting. Can I ask you a question about Pierre Poilievre?
Yeah.
Do we still refer to him as the head of the Conservative Party, even though he's lost his riding? I just wanted to make sure.
That's such a great question because I think that there's some confusion there.
Yeah.
Pierre Poilievre is the leader of the Conservative Party. He is the leader of the opposition. He does not have a seat in the House of Commons right now because of some shenanigans that happened during the election. And Pierre's being very humble about it. He's saying, yeah, listen, I lost because I was honest. I told people that there would be cuts to the civil service on my watch. Mark Carney and the guy who beat Pierre Poilievre in Pierre's riding, Fanjoy, I think his name is. He seems like a real loser.
I don't even know who that is.
Jeez, watching this guy's social media, he's a sleaze. Oh, just gross.
Okay.
Anyway, they led people to believe that your job was safe if you voted Liberal because there's a lot of people in the Ottawa-Carleton riding that are federal civil servants. It's Ottawa, for goodness sake. Well, lo and behold, Mark Carney got elected, and now a lot of those people are losing their job because the civil service is getting cut. So Pierre is saying, I told you what I was going to do, and I would have done it. They told you the opposite, and then you lost your job anyway. So how much further ahead are you? I don't know how the people in Ottawa-Carleton are feeling about what went down there, but it's not a nice look. I mean, you elected a guy because you thought he was the guy who was going to protect your job, and it didn't even take 2 months. Parliament's not even sitting, and you're going to lose your job.
And that's just it, the distrust. I mean, I'd rather somebody be honest, and I may not like what they say. Again, I'm eating my words. I was hoping for a different outcome. We're only just getting started. We'll see what happens.
It's going to be an interesting 4 years. Buckle up.
No doubt. So he is still the leader of the Conservative Party, although he does not have a seat. Okay,
right.
That's all I wanted to know.
He will by the end of August.
Yes.
He's going to win that riding. Okay. It's a safe Conservative seat, and it was the one that was available. He's running in the first available by-election.
Okay.
So he'll have a seat, and then he'll take his role again, just representing a different riding than Ottawa-Carleton. As far as there's some people who like to make hay out of Pierre living at Stornoway. Mm-hmm. Stornoway is the residence of the leader of the official opposition. And some people are drawing an interesting parallel saying, well, no, he's not the leader of the opposition because he doesn't have a seat. He shouldn't be allowed to live at Stornoway. I mean, he's got a special needs daughter. He's got a young family. He didn't win his seat. No, but he will at the end of August.
Okay.
If he loses in August, he's got to move out of Stornoway. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But given the circumstances and given that Mark Carney himself agreed with Pierre that he should stay at Stornoway, there's no point in moving for 6 weeks and then moving back in. I don't know why people are making a big deal out of that. That's just kind of petty, if you ask me.
Well, you just nailed it. It is petty, and that's the easy go-to. When you don't like somebody, you just try to nitpick. And I'm with you. What's the point of moving out? And especially if you have a child with special needs, you need consistency, and that is the consistent for their child. So, and yeah, the likelihood he's going to be back in. So just let him be.
Let's go over a couple of different things. We'll start off with something that a listener wrote into our radio show on Light 92 about this morning. I'd like your opinion on something. A few years ago, my wife and I got married. We had a small reception. A family member gave us $300 for 2 adults and 2 kids. In a few weeks, that same family member is getting married. I feel like we should give him exactly what he gave us per person. That works out, by the way, 4 people, $300, $75 a person. Mm-hmm. So he wants to go to this wedding and drop $150 for him and his wife. He says, my wife thinks I'm being cheap. What's your opinion? From someone who wishes to stay anonymous in case they are listening. Is that cheap?
Oh my gosh, I don't feel that it's cheap at all. I mean, times are even more expensive now, and I don't know this person's situation, so I think they should take that into consideration. However, I am Portuguese, and so people talk, and backlash or whatever, it's the truth. And so it matters how much you put in an envelope. And so that is something I constantly have a discussion with my mother or friends, like, how much are you putting in the envelope? Because I want to be the same as everybody else. I don't want to be the cheap one. And it should that even matter? Like, isn't my presence enough?
Well, most people are expecting a gift of some sort. I mean, the rule of thumb, the unspoken rule was always you give enough to cover the cost of you being there. And if the cost of each guest is, say, $150, then you should give at least $150 per person. Maybe a little bit more to add a gift on top of covering the cost of you being there. But these costs are crazy, and there's also no shortage of folks out there that feel like you were the one who wanted to get married. You were the one who wanted a big hall and all these bells and whistles that cost $150 per person. It's not my job to offset that. I'm going to give you, $100 a person. That doesn't cover the cost in just about any circumstance, by the way. $100 is... It's not enough, but you got to ask yourself if you're trying to cover the cost. If you're not, give whatever you want.
I know, but it's true. It's not my fault you want to get married at Casa Loma. Like, what are you, a princess today? Like, and I know everybody wants, that's their special day. They've been looking forward to it. But at the end of the day, I work hard for my money, so I don't want to just give it away. And I know it's not just giving it away. You're trying to help somebody else out. But I would probably just give how much I think the food is worth. But how much are meals worth? Like, do I go onto the venue site and try to figure out how much a plate is going to cost you?
Okay, before we move on, that's an interesting point. Because there is such an interest amongst most people that are going to weddings in, they want to give a gift that covers the cost of them being there. I think more couples should just tell you how much the cost is. And I know it's an uncomfortable conversation to have, but if you're paying $165 a person, I'd like to know that so I can give you at least $165 for my presence.
Yeah.
I don't want to think $125, $130 a person. I'll give them $150 and call it a day. And that's not even covering the cost of me being there. I do want to cover that. It's just I need to know the information. And I don't know if there's an easy way to do that, if the hall should publish it, if it should go right on the invitation, or hear me out. Couples will sometimes, if they're interested in receiving actual gifts, they'll fill out a registry. Maybe the couple should just say what they want as far as cash. If you'd like to buy a gift, here's the registry. If you'd like to give cash, here's the suggested amount.
Oh, I love that. Or a honeymoon registry, and then the money goes towards that. I would feel better about that too. I also would love for a hall to let me know how much, potential plates are. And I think that would just make things a lot easier. I wouldn't be stressed out. And I want to know, is there an open bar? That's a big one too. Will I drink my weight?
I've never been to a wedding without an open bar. I'm told that they happen all the time, but I've never been to a wedding where I was asked to pull out cash and pay for a drink at the wedding.
Oh my gosh, living out east, they were all cash bars, pretty much. Yeah, I think I've been to one that wasn't. And then Ontario, being Portuguese, it would be an insult if you didn't have an open bar. Why would you invite somebody to come? But it is quite common, especially these days. Or you have a toonie bar. See, these are the things I need to know.
So that offsets the cost of the bar.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Who is Amaya Espinal and Brian Arenales? Love Island? Does that sound familiar? This is a couple that apparently won Love Island on Sunday.
I've been seeing everything about these two, but I will be the first to admit I have not watched the series Love Island USA, because there's multiple Love Island versions, and this is the particular one that's captivated everybody. But it's a huge hit. So, yeah, they go through a bunch of relationship things, breakups, hookups, happiness, cries, whatever.
This is a show that I think really emphasizes how bad cable television has gotten everybody. It is so bad, the productions that are coming out of Hollywood, that a show about some 20-somethings with good bodies that are oiled up in the sun, banging each other and doing God knows what else, is the number one show on television. In fact, there is so much demand for this show. There was a viewing party held in Toronto on Sunday night. It was a 2-block lineup to get into this thing.
That's a hard pass for me, but people love that stuff. This is how I translate it. This reality shows like this is the new modern day version of soap operas, because this is the drama you were watching for back in the day, and now it's actually reality. But if you're hot, this is how you get on to a show, and then you become a celebrity. That's the gateway to fame.
And they'll be famous having won this show. I didn't even know it was a competition.
Yeah, you get money.
They won $100,000.
Yeah, you got to make it to the very end, and there's votes, and I think there's votes from the sounds of it. And then, if you're the it couple, you get the money.
So why wouldn't you just go into this, not really looking for love, but looking for the money? Make a deal with whoever you find and say, listen, you and I, no matter what, we're staying together. We're going to be faithful, and we're going to split $100,000. What do you think? I would make that deal.
I would make that deal, but that's not happening with people in their 20s. Are you kidding? A whole bunch of hot people.
You can't even keep it in your pants for $100,000?
No, they won't. No, because of all the deals they're going to get after this. You need to be the standout. And nobody likes to share. If you've claimed that person and somebody else is rubbing up against them, no, that's the drama.
The largest piece of the planet Mars ever found on Earth is going up for auction tomorrow. Sotheby's in New York is going to be auctioning off NWA 16788 on Wednesday as part of a natural history themed sale. The estimated auction price for this Mars rock is anywhere between $2 and $4 million US.
How do we know it's from Mars?
How do we know it's from Mars? Typically, if you wanted to verify something was Martian, you would compare its makeup or composition to something else from Mars. How many pieces of Mars are on Earth? Before we even talk about how that might have happened, how many pieces of Mars are on Earth?
That's the question. To me, I've seen this rock. It looks like a rock from the Bay of Fundy in New Brunswick.
And it could very well be. It could be.
And it's not cheap. Between $2 to $4 million US. That's how somebody is willing, or probably even get more for something from outer space. I don't think it's worth it, to be honest. And what do you do with this rock? How do you display it? Is it in the center of your home? Again, I need proof. I need to know. I need video proof that it came from outer space and landed on Earth.
Well, many people are probably wondering, how did a rock from Mars end up on Earth?
How?
They say it was an asteroid strike, and the asteroid impacted the planet Mars with such force that rock was thrown from the surface out of the Martian atmosphere, traveled tens of thousands of kilometers, and landed right on Earth. Stuck the landing. Hole in one. That's what they say.
and we didn't explode. Because I've seen Armageddon, and
well, if you've
all
seen the
those
movie, you
movies,
already know how it ends. Hey, is there any concern here about Martian rock? I mean, we know just about everything on Earth, but something Martian. I feel like this should be kept in like an airtight thing. What if it just opens up in the middle of the night and we end up with another Superman or something on the planet?
Oh, I would love that. But that's why I'm calling BS on this. Give me a break. But now I'm curious. Can somebody buy it and then crack it open? Or do you buy it?
I don't think that's a good idea.
Well, or I would want a piece of it. Do you just, if your dad buys it, are you expecting him to break off little pieces so then you all have a piece of Mars?
I'm not even sure how you would do that. My son is a geologist. I'll ask him, but I'm not even sure how you do that.
You need to ask him about, is this something he would be interested in?
I would be. And here's another question, because one of the other things they're auctioning off tomorrow is a fully intact dinosaur skeleton. It's 2 meters tall by 3 meters long. Dinosaurs were huge, and they were just roaming the streets at one point. Well, there weren't really streets back then, but you know what I mean.
7-Eleven.
So... is it okay that private individuals own those things, or should they be available in museums and public spaces for everyone to appreciate? Is it okay that someone's going to own that dinosaur skeleton, that someone's going to own that piece of rock?
Oh, to me, it's a little tacky, but it just goes to show that if you have money, there's the power that comes with it. If you're going to buy it, buy both and then put both side by side. This was here first, and then an asteroid came, and you are no longer here.
Oh, if you're telling the story chronologically, yeah, that's similar to how it went down.
But millions of dollars gone just like that. Wow.
The New York Post says a recent study by Insure and Go found that suitcase wheels in particular are 58 times dirtier than a public toilet seat. Your suitcase that you wheel through your home and probably store in your closet. They have bacteria like Staphylococcus and Serratia Marsenkin. I don't know what it is.
It just sounds gross.
Microbiologists recommend cleaning your luggage after every trip with alcohol wipes or soapy water to prevent the spread of harmful bacteria. This makes perfect sense to me, Anna. When's the last time you went away? Where did you go?
I moved back here from Nova Scotia, but I had my suitcase in my car. I don't clean it though. Is that bad? I feel so gross.
You've probably been to the Caribbean. Those are a 7-day vacation.
Yes, I've gone everywhere.
7-day vacation. You probably had 21 pairs of underwear.
Minimum.
Most people do when they travel for some reason. And every one of those pieces of underwear is dirty. It's been up against your butt, your privates. And then you threw it back in the suitcase. That's just one of the ways. There's also dirty socks. There's all the stuff. You wore some shorts, and then you sat on that dirty couch on the cruise.
Oh, gosh.
All of this stuff goes into your suitcase, and we never think to clean our suitcases.
I never think to clean it, or the outside, the inside. I do try to bring a bag so I could put dirty clothes in it, but that's more, bathing suits and such. Ugh, I feel so dirty right now. And I take my clothes out and then I just zip the suitcase up and put it in the closet. So all the germs are in there. Ew. Is it too late to clean it out?
No.
Okay.
It's never too late to do the right thing, Anna.
Okay.
You're going to want to spray that down with some Lysol or wipe it down with some wipes is what they recommend.
Okay, I'm going to do that when I get home.
New numbers out of America have added up what it is we're wasting our money on. The top 10 things that we waste money on. Number 1 is eating out.
Yeah.
38% guilty of it.
I am. I would much rather eat out than make something. Oh.
But you don't cook, though.
Yeah, this is the point.
When you go into a restaurant, and you see a plate of pasta on sale for $28, and you could buy the entire bag of pasta for about $2, doesn't that make you think, God, I wish I could cook? Maybe I should learn how to cook.
Yeah,
don't you want to get wifed up someday?
Oh, please, he can cook for himself. He should cook for me. Get out of here. He should husband up. No way. My dad always used to say that, Anna, you need to learn to cook to get a husband. And I said, Dad, I don't want a husband. 39 years later, I'm still eating out.
Eating out for 38%. Impulse buying online. How many times have you logged into this app or that app and you just bought it without really weighing the pros and cons of whether you need it and can afford it?
Is that you? Are you that person? Because I don't shop online, so.
So, Anna, I've gone so cheap. Ever since COVID, everything changed for me. I never eat out. Never. Well, I'll go to a restaurant for a special occasion with my girlfriend, but that's about it. I don't ever stop for fast food. I don't pick up a slice of pizza on my way home from work. I don't do any of that. Everything I eat is at home unless it's a special occasion where her and I are going to go out. I do not really shop online for anything. And all of my unnecessary expenses have been cut. I even make my coffee at home, which is way better than the coffee I get at some of the drive-through places, not naming any one in particular that's got a bit of a reputation lately for screwing up your order anyway. So, yeah, I'm not spending any unnecessary money.
I need to be more like you. I'm going to work towards that. That is my goal. What else made that list? So we know.
Buying convenience foods and drinks falls under that category. Stopping at a drive-through. I'll have a coffee. And you know what? There's a combo. Throw in a donut there too. Stuff like that really adds up. Wasting leftovers or letting food expire in your fridge.
Guilty. Oh,
really?
Man, I'm so bad for it because I forget about it. And again, because I don't cook, so I don't really go in the fridge.
Paying for unused streaming services.
I don't do that.
How many people are paying for Crave and they never watch Crave? Or they've got a Disney Plus subscription and they never watch it?
Yeah, no, I use my friends for that reason. They say somebody might as well use it. And I said, okay, thanks, girl.
Buying new clothes, even though they aren't necessary. Oh, you do that too, do you?
I'm hiding
in my seat. If you guys could
seat.
see this
I
is
know,
funny.
I'm just sinking lower and lower into my seat.
Spending money on lottery tickets.
I love bingo scratch cards. I have an obsession with them. I buy them often.
Some people think buying a lottery ticket is an investment.
It could be.
You can't win that $70 million unless you spend $5. Other people feel that with the odds as bad as they are, you're just throwing away $5. It's almost like a voluntary tax, considering it's run by the government.
I know, but there's a chance. There's still a chance you could win something. So that's enough for me.
Ordering food delivery.
I don't do that often.
Me either.
No.
Occasionally, but not often. Leaving appliances or utilities running when they don't need to be. If you go to work all day, do you need to have the AC keeping your house down to 68 degrees while you're gone?
No, but it's nice to walk into that when you get home.
Okay. There's all kinds of different examples.
Yes.
Buying coffee instead of making it at home is a specific one there. And that's something that so many people are guilty of. Although, you know what? It's comparable if you go to McDonald's and get the $1 coffee.
Yes, exactly. And I like to do that. I get a black coffee and I like to treat myself. And you too, Scott. I think it's a nice little gesture.
By the way, off topic here, and I don't want to besmirch the fine folks over at McDonald's, but I've heard from enough people now that this new snack wrap that they brought back is not the same snack wrap that they used to have. And apparently this one is not as good either.
Really? That's disappointing because I did like the snack wraps. And then I wondered why they left. They were such a hit. It didn't make sense to me.
That's what I thought. They got rid of them in 2016.
Yeah.
And apparently these new ones are not the same. Several people on TikTok are commenting things like they're dry and they lack flavor.
Ooh.
I mean, that's the case for a lot of fast food items.
I know, but I guess when you have, it's like you get a meal and it's the best meal you've had in such a long time and you go back to eat it because it was so good and it is a lackluster. I hate that. And that's what these people are experiencing. They've hyped it up in their mind and it's not at all what they remember it to be.
We were talking about unused streaming services. Here's a great way to save some money. Sportsnet is raising their prices for the Sportsnet Plus premium streaming service starting September the 9th, with their annual plan going way up in price. Sportsnet Plus Premium says they're boosting their prices by $75.
Whoa.
Capping out now at $320 a year.
That's outrageous.
It's about $7 a month that it's going up. Brock University professor of sport management, Michael Narain, says the increase is incredibly frustrating from a fan perspective. A Sportsnet spokesperson defended the price increase in a statement, claiming the increase updates the reflected value of the provided sports content. Let me translate. They just paid a boatload of money to continue having the rights for the NHL. So they're going to pass the extra cost on to the users. And some would argue that's perfectly appropriate. That's how much it costs for them to have the rights to the NHL. The users should offset that cost, especially when there's a price increase. But I think fans are looking at another $75 a year.
Oh, man.
And they're saying no. I actually feel like Sportsnet is probably going to regret this because I think a lot of people are going to cancel. Stuff like this, that's not a small increase.
No, I would cancel too. And you're so right. That's a lot of money. And there's so many options out there that I feel like for some, that will be the one that they cut loose.
But I mean, you could do this, absolutely. And that's the legitimate way to do it. And yes, you are supporting a Canadian business if you buy Sportsnet Plus Premium. But we all know a guy who sells these weird little boxes, and if you just give this guy $15 a month or whatever it is, you can get every channel under the sun. If you're I don't know, what's an example? A New York Islanders fan.
Yeah.
We don't get a lot of New York Islanders games on TV in Canada, so you'd probably need a package like this if you want to follow your team. Or you could just get the box and you could watch anything you want, including that Islanders game. At what point are people going to say, $320 a year, I'm not paying it? And Sportsnet is gambling on fans are going to pay this. They need fans to pay for this. Otherwise, they can't afford what they just signed on for with the NHL.
And to that, I say, your fault, not mine. You know, I would.
Or is it the NHL's fault? Is the NHL being greedy and not reading the room and trying to rip off their fans? I mean, at the end of the day, Sportsnet is providing a service here, but they're only giving us what they get from the NHL. Is the NHL just not understanding that fans don't have a lot of money either?
Well, that's the thing. We're all in the same boat for the majority anyways. Times are tough and streaming services are a luxury, to be honest, at this point. I would cut it and get the box if I were them, personally.
Do you have one or...
I will not. I plead the fifth.
I've had them over the years. My problem is all the people that operate them seem to operate in a very criminal type way.
Yes.
You know, it's like show up at my house and leave cash in an envelope underneath the mat. And I'm like, this doesn't seem like a secure means of doing business.
No.
I don't think this is a good idea.
But all the channels, it's so nice to have. And then it's frustrating when the internet goes down and you can't get access to it. But it's becoming far and in between. So
in fairness, though, if the internet's down, you also wouldn't have access to Sportsnet because it's a streaming service as well.
There you go. I mean, the options are there. So I really hope that they know what they're doing because a lot of people are going to look the other way.
Got an interesting DM. In fact, I left it over there in front of you. It's a DM about something that you and I were talking about in the studio the other day at Canada's Wonderland.
Yes. For
those who are not in the Greater Toronto area or Southern Ontario, Canada's Wonderland, big amusement park, and they just opened up a new coaster. It's called the Alpine Fury, and it broke a bunch of different records. It's like a fastest, tallest launch coaster and so on and so forth. Yesterday was the first weekday that it was open. It opened on the weekend at Canada's Wonderland. And the lineups were crazy. And it was practically backed up to Vaughan Mills yesterday, waiting to get into this ride here.
You're not exaggerating.
So one of the options you can do when you go to an amusement park is you can buy a fast pass. Let's read this DM that came in from a listener.
All right. Jennifer writes, I thought I'd reply to your new ride post at Canada's Wonderland. Topic idea for discussion, the fast lane. Fast lane plus cost. I mean, everything at the park is robbery, but the further division between regular fast lane and plus just to make an extra 50 or so is ridiculous. Okay, so there's a fast lane and then there's a fast lane.
Yeah. So I'm looking at the pricing right now on Canada's Wonderland site. So keep in mind, you got to pay to get into the park.
Yeah.
And then if you want to go on rides, no problem. You can go on any of them once you've paid to get into the park. However, the lineups are quite long. And some people have what are called fast passes. If you don't have a fast pass, you're going to watch these people who paid extra to cut the line. They're just going to walk right up in front of you and get on the ride while you wait.
Okay, that's the one that I was aware of. My nephew gets that.
The 2025 Fast Lane starts at $69 plus a processing fee up to $9.99 plus applicable taxes. It's a $100 pass. Then there's the Fast Lane Plus. For the ultimate Canada's Wonderland experience, that's $79 plus $9.99 plus tax. Or you can get a Seasons Pass Fast Lane Plus for next year for $600, $599.
Plus you have to pay to get in.
This
is outrageous.
So let me tell you what you get here for this $79 one. This is the
Fast
Fast Lane Plus. Upgrade to Fast Lane Plus and enjoy all 24 of the Fast Lane attractions, plus unlimited rides on Yukon Striker, Leviathan, and Behemoth. A very limited number are available each day. Are you basically at a point now where if you go to Canada's Wonderland and don't pay for the Fast Lane Pass, you're not going to get on all the rides in a day? Is that what it comes down to?
Yes.
Is pay the extra $80 or it's not worth paying the price of admission? I really don't know. I've done this at Disney. Disney has got these fast pass. Maybe that's why I was calling it a fast pass. Wonderland's a fast lane. Disney has a fast pass.
Yeah.
It's great, Anna. If you get that fast pass, you just walk up to the exit. They walk you right up the back and sit you right on the car. You're ready to go. No waiting. It's amazing. I've never experienced it at Wonderland, but I feel like this is turning into a real expensive outing.
Because I asked my brother about this. I haven't been to Wonderland since 2013. I've been itching to go. And he shot me down real quick. He's like, we're not paying $200 to go to Canada's Wonderland. And then you've broken it down. Now I understand why it's so expensive. Gone are the days. I loved that we all waited. And it was part of the thing about going to Canada's Wonderland. You wait an hour and a half for a 30-second ride. But we were all in it together. Now it just doesn't seem fair. How about if you can't afford the extra $70? Oh, man, they're taking it away.
Plus, there's drinks that you got to get. Plus, there's
funnel cake,
food, and all kinds of other stuff. It really is turning into being an almost unaffordable experience for a lot of folks anyway, at prices like that. And again, I don't know. Like, if you don't have a fast lane pass, is there any point in going?
No, there's not. From the sounds of it, there's no point in going. You're not going to get on.
But if they only sell a limited number of them, maybe that's not so bad.
I don't think. But they get to go on the same ride as many times as they like. And so if you want to go on the Behemoth or whatever, chances are those people are always going to keep going and you're not going to get a spot. I don't know. This is leaving a bad taste in my mouth.
So basically, if I'm going to Wonderland, budget for the fast lane passes or don't bother is the thought.
Yeah. So budget for me for the fast lane, please. Yeah.
I got another listener DM that also on that sheet there in front of you.
Yes.
Do you think you could read that for me?
Yes, it's from John. And he writes, "Hi, Scott. You've been so influential that I tend to adopt a lot of the same theories or opinions as you because you are full of common sense. I had basically decided that I wasn't going to make the producers of the Rob Ford doc any additional money by watching it. Well, I changed my mind and watched it. I was pleasantly surprised. It did not specifically shine a negative light on him, in my opinion. It showed negative things, but they were all factual. The doc was perfectly balanced as far as I'm concerned, simply told his story as much as it could in 49 minutes in a 49-minute doc. I would say if you watched it, you would feel good about it overall. I hope I'm not wrong in saying so. I hope you're having a great day."
Yeah, you know, he's not the first person to message me after watching the Rob Ford documentary and say it's not as bad as you're expecting. And I'm expecting a hit piece.
Yeah, it's not, though. I've watched it. It's not a hit piece.
So my problem is I didn't want them to rip into the memory and legacy of a politician that I thought was charismatic and in it for the right reasons. I really liked Rob Ford as mayor. I think he would have done great things if he were still with us today. And I didn't want these docu-producers to try and make a fast buck coming in here trying to besmirch his memory. If I watch this, they're going to get a little cut. And even if they make like 20 cents for every view they get, I did not even want to put 20 cents in their pocket. But I've now heard from enough people that it's not that bad. I'm wondering if I should watch it.
You should watch it. And I really am interested what your take will be after you're done. I watched it. I wouldn't watch it again. But I felt that they were accurate and they left me wishing he hadn't passed, obviously, and wondering what kind of good he would have done because he was ready for that next stage and he got ripped off, and that made me sad.
Well, it's funny because if you look at who came after him between John Tory and Olivia Chow, and you think about the chaos in the streets of Toronto right now and the massive cost overruns on all of the big projects, and you think about the crime and you think about the poverty and you think about the gridlock and all of the other issues facing Toronto. How different would things be if Rob Ford were still around? Because I don't think I think Toronto truly would be a world-class city if he were still in charge.
And really,
and I think he would have kept Justin Trudeau in line.
Ooh.
That was someone who would not be afraid to stand up to Trudeau, whereas Tory and Chow just got railroaded with whatever Trudeau wanted.
Well, and that's definitely what you see in the docu, that he wasn't afraid to speak his opinion, and he came from a family who, voiced how they felt. And to be honest, I lived away when he was when he was the mayor, and so all I really knew of him was that he was this crazy mayor doing crazy things. When I watched the docu, I actually really liked him. I thought he sounded like a really great person, loved his community, and I felt really sad that he got ripped off, because that's what cancer does, honestly. So I hope you watch it and let me know what you think.
I might just do that now. I think I've heard enough that I think I might concede that maybe I may have misjudged, and I might give it the time of day. We'll see.
But it's because of how they cut it, to promo it.
The trailer looked very salacious.
That's what it is. And then you watch it, you're like, oh, you used all those parts in the trailer. That was it. Before
I go, one of the things that I've been talking about a lot here, and I'm not apologizing for it. In fact, I'm actually starting to get praise for it. I knew that if I started talking about the Epstein files originally, I was going to lose listeners. And I understand that. I mean, there's people who don't want to hear a quote unquote conspiracy theory. However, enough people now have seen this on reputable news sources, quote unquote, like CNN, CBC. They're now hearing Democrats, not just Republicans and not just MAGA, calling for the release of the Epstein files. There's a real movement growing, and it's only going to work if the media, particularly the digital media, stays on it and keeps driving home the point that you are not allowed to rape children, you cannot kill people, you cannot traffic people and get away with it. Mm-hmm. And that's the message that we are all trying to send to Donald Trump, who is, I am so disappointed in that guy for backtracking on that promise to release the Epstein files. I'm so disappointed in him. It's so infuriating. But I think he will, because I think he's feeling the pressure. One of the people who can help shed a lot of light on the Jeffrey Epstein situation is Alan Dershowitz, famous criminal lawyer. Now, I played a clip from him the other day where he said, because he had to defend himself, there was an accusation that he was in the Epstein files. He was able to get the Epstein files to defend himself properly. He's seen it. This is a lawyer who's seen it. Yesterday, he sat down and did an interview with Chris Cuomo. Let me play just a little bit of Dershowitz talking to Cuomo on Cuomo's podcast.
Is the government hiding a client list or anything that the Trump administration could release tonight?
No, there is no client list. There never has been a client list. A client list suggests that Jeffrey Epstein made a list of people to whom he trafficked women. What there is a redacted FBI affidavit from accusers. There are several of them. From accusers that accuse Jeffrey, that accuse various people of having improper sex. And that has been redacted. The names of the people accused have been blacked out. Now, of course, because I was the lawyer and I did all the investigations, I know who all these people are. I could figure out, based on everything that I saw, who Mr. X is, Mr. Y is, and Mr. Z. I can tell you right now, none of them are public figures who are currently in office. Some of them were previously in office. Some of them are dead. But there is no client list. And the redactions could be undone if you go to court. So many of the things that are being suppressed by two judges in Manhattan. And they're doing it largely to protect the alleged accusers who are, in the view of the judges, victims, even though we don't know what their actual status is. But the judges have issued orders, which is why I can't disclose things I'd love to disclose, saying that you can't disclose this information. But Pam Bondi and the Justice Department and Donald Trump are not responsible for that. I don't know of any information that they could disclose that they haven't disclosed. Now, maybe there is some, but I'm simply not aware of it. And so I think it's important to place the blame where the blame deserves to be placed. The vast majority of people who are in the files, and I know them all, I've seen all the names, the vast majority of them have already been disclosed. They're in articles all over.
I'm going to cut him off right there, because it now seems like Dershowitz, I don't know, maybe he got compromised, because he's changed his tune a little bit since last week, really trying to downplay this. And that's exactly what Donald Trump wants to happen. He's trying to dial it back. Apparently, Trump is phoning MAGA influencers and basically telling them, you're going to stop talking about this or forget about it. There's no access to me. There's no access to the White House, no access to my administration, nothing. You're done. I mean, they're really playing hardball to keep this stuff secret. I don't disagree with what Dershowitz said there. I'm sure that there isn't a formal list. I don't think he kept an ongoing tally of all the different guys that were going there. But someone knows what happened. Someone knows where the bodies are buried.
Yeah.
Someone knows who these people are that were paying for the privilege to rape children. And I think now, at this point, given that Dershowitz is kind of clouding the issue here, and I can't figure out how he changed his tune that quickly. Ghislaine Maxwell is alive. Before she commits suicide in the next week or two, get her in front of Congress right now. Let her sing. You know what? You know what I'd even do? I'd promise her at least partial immunity if she'll talk. Because it seems that she's the only one with the ability to say reputably what went on and who participated. And if she does that, I think that's valuable to society. And I'd be willing to make her life in prison a lot better if she were to actually disclose it. It seems like if the cover-up has been going on since 2007, we've had a couple of different presidents since then, including Barack Obama and Joe Biden. They've had ample time to cover it up. If there were Epstein files, they've probably been doctored. They've probably been edited. They've probably done this or that or whatever. Dershowitz said no current sitting politician is in those files. I find that extremely hard to believe. There's many, many, many people that feel the reason Donald Trump won't do this is because Trump is in those files.
Yeah.
Or someone he cares about deeply. And I don't know if he is or isn't, but until they release the files, as far as I'm concerned, every one of those pricks is a suspect. Every one of them.
Honestly, when he started speaking, this tune changed. My first thought was, oh my gosh, somebody got to him.
Somebody got to him.
They got to him, threatened him with his family, something.
Or rewarded him greatly to shut his mouth.
Honestly, someone got to him. There's no way. And I agree. I don't think there's a list like, oh, this person. But there is key information that details who was coming and when they came, because they had to keep track. They had to have the people ready for those particular people who are coming to the island or that he was setting them up with. There is always a trail.
Even if we don't get, let's say, for example, that nobody is lying here and everything really was destroyed, all of the actual evidence. Nobody can deny Jeffrey Epstein was being supported by a government, maybe multiple. No one can really deny at this point that he was an intelligence officer or intelligence operative. His job was to get influential and wealthy people doing dirty things on video and blackmail them with it. Why can't we at least know who he worked for?
Oh my gosh.
If he wasn't working for the American intelligence, which country's intelligence was he working for? And how did American intelligence allow this to go on their soil? A foreign operative, and help them cover it up. How did that happen? Friends, there's just too many questions to let this go, and I don't think we should let it go, despite what Trump and some of the MAGA influencers want. Don't drop this. We are all entitled to know, because if something happened to children, I think we should just know about it, and I want to watch those perpetrators paraded down Main Street, walked into the courthouse, and ordered to jail for the rest of their lives. And I want to watch them cry. And I want to watch them beg for mercy, because that's probably what their victims did.
Honestly, and they didn't care.
And they didn't care. They treated them like garbage.
That's just because they had the power and they could. So they thought, we're so close. Don't give it up. We must know. We must know. Those kids deserve that much.
Anna, thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
I'm going to go now to a speech yesterday that was given in Ottawa by the leader of the Conservative Party of Canada, Pierre Poilievre. He's talking about something very important. He's talking about this disclosure of assets that the Prime Minister dropped Friday. On the Friday night, this guy drops his disclosures, and apparently he had none. Turns out there's more than 100 of them. This is a big problem here, potentially. A big problem. Let's hear from Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre.
On Friday, we finally got a look at the Prime Minister's many financial interests that he kept carefully hidden throughout the election and about which he told numerous falsehoods during that same campaign. And so These are what the revelations tell us. One, that Mr. Carney was not upfront or honest with Canadians during the election. He made numerous false statements he would have known were false when he made them. Two, there is a cornucopia of conflicts of interest in these investments, like we have never seen before from a Canadian Prime Minister. Let me go through and document all of these claims one by one. First of all, during the election campaign, Mr. Carney said, and I quote, "I own nothing but cash and personal real estate, and that's not going to change in public life." Well, it turns out, while he said that, he knowingly owned 574 stocks and deferred profits and stock options in Brookfield and other companies. So it was patently and now provably false for him to say he owned nothing but cash and real estate. Two, my assets are now in a blind trust, so I don't know what exactly is in there. That too is false. He must have known what was in that blind trust because he was the one that filled out the paperwork for the Ethics Commissioner to report those holdings. So he knew exactly what was in his blind trust, and he just did not want Canadians to know before they went to the polls. Finally, he said, and I quote, "I do not have a connection with Brookfield Asset Management." Well, it turns out that he has continuing stock options and deferred share units in Brookfield Asset Management. And these options cannot be sold, or at least not easily, and we have no reason to believe they have been. So when he said that he had no connection to Brookfield, he was stating a patent falsehood. Now, why should we care? Why should Canadians care about this? Well,
good question.
Mr. Carney has shown in the past his willingness to use his political connections in order to profit himself. For example, he said, let me see here, he gave public endorsement of Westinghouse in the leaders' debate. Westinghouse is a nuclear energy company which Brookfield is invested in. He has announced he's going to spend billions of dollars on modular homes. Brookfield is invested in modular homes. He says he wants to subsidize heat pumps. Brookfield is invested in heat pumps. He says that jet fuel, in the past he has said that he helped influence regulatory changes forcing aviation companies to buy certain kinds of jet fuel that one of his companies was invested in, so that air passengers have to pay more for their airline ticket to subsidize this specialty jet fuel that profits a company in which Mr. Carney had a financial interest. And the list of potential conflicts goes on and on. How can he possibly be involved in developing a budget when all the tax policies could impact on his investments directly or indirectly? How could he address things like competition policy when his companies might be impacted? Then there's, for example, the digital services tax. The digital services tax is paid by some of the companies that he is invested in, and therefore he has a potential or perceived conflict of interest in that as well.
I'm going to pause, Pierre, right there. Have you heard enough? Wow. Wow. I mean, if we made a decision as voters that all of those conflicts were okay and elected Mark Carney, okay, we knew, we voted for him anyway, he won. To not know, to intentionally keep that from the Canadian people until after they voted is so shady. Like, come on. Seriously? No conflicts, just cash and real estate. You had over 100 conflicts, and you didn't disclose it until after the election. That's one of the most dishonest things I've seen by a politician yet. It truly is. And that's extremely frustrating. Wow. Can I say it? Does anybody feel it? We got conned here. I'm not saying Canadians wouldn't have voted for him if they knew that, but they had a right to know that. For him to arbitrarily decide, you Canadians don't need to know my conflicts. Vote for me. Just trust me. And then after we vote for him, he comes out with his conflicts, more than 100 of them, and he drops it on a Friday night. Big kick in the face. That's wrong. That's just wrong. I do want to play one more from Pierre Poilievre. He is running for a seat in Alberta. There is a fairly large and maybe even growing separatist movement happening in Alberta right now. Does Pierre Poilievre support Alberta's sovereignty? Listen to this.
During the campaign, I visited Western Canada and was honestly shocked with the level of frustration and alienation in Western Canada. You're currently running for Western Canadian seats. What do you have to say to people in the West who are so frustrated that they think that even if you were to become Prime Minister, given that you wouldn't be Prime Minister forever, it's better to just separate than to keep in Confederation because they just think Canada is so broken?
Well, I disagree with separation. I'm a Canadian patriot. I was born and raised in Calgary, Alberta, and I understand the frustration. I still think that there's no other country in the world where someone of my modest origins would be able to make it to this place. And that's the story that millions of people have lived and relived from across the country. So we are united by that Canadian promise. But as I say, and I say it here, and I've been saying for years, we have to put a final end to this notion that Ottawa tells Alberta to pay up and shut up. And that's what Albertans have been told by this Liberal government for a decade. Their frustrations are entirely legitimate. Alberta is the #1 net contributor, per capita contributor to Confederation, paying more in tax than getting back in federal programs. The major industry of Alberta has been under relentless attack for the last 10 years. The rural and Western way of life is under attack with ridiculous gun bans, all while allowing repeat offenders to go and terrorize communities, including rural communities where crime is now, for the first time in a generation, a serious danger in communities where people didn't even have to lock their doors. So I say all of that to point out that the frustration is real and it is legitimate, and we should neither dismiss it nor deride the people who hold those frustrations. It's the job of all federal leaders and, frankly, all members of Parliament to redress the very unfair treatment that Western Canada has been receiving, and I pledge to do that. I understand it. For me, it's personal. I was born in '79. It was a few years later that Trudeau 1 hit us all with the big national energy program. My folks were teachers, so they didn't lose their jobs like so many others, but we got smashed with the 20% interest rates on mortgages like everyone else. And I grew up understanding that the federal government had viciously attacked the Alberta economy. And so one of the reasons I got into politics was to bring fairness to my province and to my region.
Well said. Well said. It's nice to know that we have a unity party in Canada. And it seems to me that's the CPC. That's Pierre Poilievre saying he is a Canadian patriot and he wants Canada to stay together. And the way to do that is to address Alberta's legitimate concerns. I thought that was a great answer. Friends, I'm almost at time here. Have yourselves a fantastic day. I appreciate you downloading this episode of Scott Fox After 9, and I'll catch you right back here tomorrow. Oh, yeah.